Of Torah Ohr, welcome. We're going to learn two Maimarim today, both on the same similar theme. First Maimar begins Moshe Yedber, again like yesterday's stuff on the pasuk Moshe Yedber, that Moshe will speak the words of the Aseret Dibros, and Hashem will answer him, will respond in the same voice, the same volume as Moshe. So we already explained in the last Maimar that this is not talking about the Aseret Dibros only, because in Aseret Dibros, Hashem never responds to Moshe. If anything, Hashem is leading and Moshe is responding. But in this is in Torah in general, and in our avodah, in our service of Hashem in general, that Moshe, which represents a highest, Moshe represents Bitul, to a high spiritual level, is the sort of leader, and then Elikim, as we'll explain, refers to Hashem's light as it is within worlds, within nature, will respond. Okay, so let's begin with contrasting Abraham with Moshe. So Abraham is the epitome of chesed, of kindness, and compared to water, which sustains life, and to milk, which sustains an infant. And in terms of midas, this is like the intellect needed to energize and to sustain an emotion. So you have an idea, and that idea makes you feel a certain way towards someone or towards something. And when the midas are sustained, the intellect allows them to develop with hiskalos, with inclusion of multiple strands of different midas, like chesed shebegvura. So this is what Abraham accomplished, that the sort of bolstering of the midas of Hashem. It says that Vayikra Abraham b'shem Hashem kel olam, that Hashem called in the name of Hashem kel olam. So meaning that he brought Hashem's light into the world, that it should be revealed within the world. Because the natural way it is that the amount of godly energy in the world is limited, like the name Shakai implies, that which comes from the word dai, that Hashem tells the world enough. Whereas Avram brought a revelation of not of Shakai, but of Havaya into the world, to make that Kel Olam, the God of the world. And he did this through calling out in the name of Hashem, through declaring Hashem as the only reality, and through his efforts in creating a following in Haran, and then also in Eretz Yisrael, where he had the 318 men who came with him to fight against the kings of Sodom. So he planted emunah in their hearts. And then he also did the acts of chesed through having a lodging for travelers. But despite all his efforts, he was only able to bring Hashem's light, to reveal Hashem's light in the higher spiritual worlds. So to add light in Atzilus, that the seven, because the seven names of Hashem each represent a certain sphere, a certain light. So we have Kel is Chesed, Elikim is Gvur, etc. And through Avram's efforts brought these lights to reveal these lights. They should be more manifest in the kelim, in the containers of the spheres of Atzilus, of the highest spiritual world. Like the Maggid said, the Maggid of Mizrach said, to explain the pasuk, that when they stood, their wings were weak, and this is talking about the angels. And he explained that when the angels stand in prayer, then their wings, which refers to their ava and yira, the wings are love and reverence, like it says in Tanya. Those are the two wings that lift us to Hashem. But the angels' wings were weak when compared to the light which a human can bring down through the human's passionate attachment to Hashem, is our year of Hashem. seemingly this it doesn't make sense. The angels obviously are spiritual beings, and their ava v'yira, their love and reverence of Hashem is more powerful and more genuine than what a human can accomplish. The answer is that the advantage of human endeavors to develop a relationship with Hashem is that there's always chadash, there's always a new light. Whereas with malachim, with angels, it's always the same. They don't rise. That whatever level they're at, that's where they stay. So Avraham, he was always bringing down new lights into the like it says, the 248 mitzvahs or 248 limbs of Hashem. And like we said in the previous moment, that the 248 is because there are nine basic spheres, and this is when we don't count us. So we have each one, it can be included in all of them, so that equals 9 times 9 is 81, and then each one has the beginning, middle, and end of the sphere. In other words, the beginning is how it relates to the spheres above, middle is the sphere itself, and end is how it relates to the spheres below. So that equals 243, and they're brought down with the hey chasadim, with there's 5 aspects of kindness that are what bring down, what reveal Hashem's light downwards. That equals 248. And so Hashem has all the different mitzvahs, but they're in a spiritual way, because Avram brought he revealed Hashem's light only in the spiritual worlds. Like, for example, bikochelim, to visit the sick. Like we said in the previous mimer, spiritual sickness is love sick for Hashem, and through removing any concealment, revealing Hashem's light, that cures the sickness. Or tefillin is about Hashem declaring that his special love for the Am Yisrael, for the Jewish people. In Hashem's tefillin, it says, "Mik Amcha Yisrael," who is like your people Israel, Goyechad Baretz, one nation on the land, and the same with other mitzvahs. Tefillin is in particular is connected to Hashem's chachma, and to bring Hashem's chachma into the Bnei Yisrael. Now, this is all Avraham, but Moshe brought Hashem's light also into Biyah, into the lower worlds, because Avram is chesed of Atzilus. So Avram is within Atzilus, and therefore, which is a very high source for a soul. So he was able to elicit Hashem's light to shine in throughout Atzilus into the different spheres, whereas Moshe came from even beyond. It says that Moshe, it was called Moshe because min hamayim mishisihu, he was pulled out from the water, he was pulled out from somewhere beyond this world. From the Shemitah Roshona, from the first Shemitah, because our world is the second Shemitah. There was a Shemitah before. However you explain what this means, another 7,000 years or spiritual years, or Olam Atoyo, like it says in Kisvei Arizal. And because Moshe came from so high, so therefore was able to bring Hashem all the way down into Biyah, into the lower world, where there's independence from Hashem, seemingly. And in the Yud Kemumidas Harachmim, so Moshe, it says that Moshe called out. It says that Vayav Hashem Apanov, Vayikra, and he called out. Who's he called out? So Rabbi explains it's Moshe calling out, and he calls out Hashem, Hashem Kal Racham Chanun. The 13 attributes, Hashem, God of mercy and graciousness. So Moshe brought all these spiritual revelations of Hashem down, and in particular, so these are all from beyond. These are from beyond Hishalshalos, from beyond the chain of worlds, because working within Hishalshalos, within the chain of worlds, so then bringing Hashem's light into the physical world is distant and difficult. Whereas since Moshe came from beyond Hishalshalos, from beyond the chain of worlds, therefore at that level, physical and spiritual is all the same, and therefore Moshe is able to bring Hashem's light even into the physical world. And in doing this, he he caused that even in our physical world, where das Tachton is prevalent, where we see ourselves as real and Hashem is some obscure force above, and so we're the Yesh and Hashem is the Ayin, but we should realize and declare that Hashem is the real Yesh, Hashem is the real something entity, the real something, the real existence, and we are the nothing. So that's what Moshe brought down. That in our the physical world, but it's all about around Hashem. Like we have all the mitzvahs of agriculture, Trum and Meiser, but it's all about Hashem. And this is the idea. It says and we'll explain more in the next Mimer, from the prophecy of Meiser Merkava, the beginning of Yecheskel, where it talks about a wheel inside a wheel. That the higher wheel, at the bigger wheel, the top of it is higher than the smaller wheel, but the bottom of it is lower than the smaller wheel. The smaller wheel is entirely inside the bigger wheel. So the idea is that the higher the spiritual, the godly light is, the lower it can go down. And through this lo sachallo, you won't like desecrate Hashem's name, but lo sachallo, you won't leave an empty space, a void, because Hashem's light can shine even in this world. And the truth is that this world does not block, and Hashem is the same before creation, started and after creation, without any interruption. And so this is what Moshe brought down into this world. And some tzaddikim some tzaddikim integrate this, like Rav Yehuda, that the Gemara says about him, that it's a story, he was standing on a roof of a shul, and it says he had fear. And the Gemara explains what was the fear. It wasn't from falling, he had fear, reverence of the Hashem. And to the extent that his teacher Shmuel said, this is not a human, this is not someone born from a mother. He had such a spiritual elevation, such a closeness with Hashem, and that's why Rabbi Yehuda didn't have to daven, because he was in this state of oneness with Hashem anyway through his Torah. So when learning Torah with this level of bitul, so then we bring Torah as pnimis. Torah is internal, because when you learn Torah, you understand that it's inside you. Mitzvahs are makifim. They're what's around us, and they're the garments of the soul. And this is connected to Ma being Hashem's name, as it is internal, and Ban surrounding. Ban is how Hashem's light is expressed in Gashmis, in the physical. And when you have these two together, you have the fire within from Torah and the fire around from mitzvahs. So then, that transforms the world. Next paragraph is Zel Moshe. So now we can go back to explain the pasuk Moshe Yadber. So Moshe first speaks, in other words, that Moshe, who's a total bitul to Hashem, as godliness beyond his shalshos, beyond the chain of worlds, unlike our, so he was able to bring down Hashem's light even into our and even into our physical world, unlike Abraham, who, yes, he had great love of Hashem, and he was bringing down Hashem's light, but it was all through his Avaviyira and his own feelings, his own love and reverence, and therefore was limited. Whereas the Torah is Hashem's chachma, and therefore can bring down from Hashem as he's beyond his shalshalos. And this the light from brought down through Torah mitzvahs burnt in Nefesh Bahamis, because the whole goal is to reveal how this world should also declare that Hashem is the Yeshem with Ayin, like tzaddikim who totally integrate this. So in the future, with Mashiach, all will see in them, will see the godliness within them, because their whole physical self will be transformed to godliness. Like the prophesies about our world, the world as it currently is vanishing, and there being a new heaven and new earth, which means that our world will have a revelation of Hashem, just like in Atzilus, in the highest spiritual world. So that is through Moshe Yadber, the Moshe declares Hashem's oneness, Elikim Yanenu, and then Elikim answers Elikim is the godliness of Hashem within the world, Malchus, as it goes down into Biyah, into the lower worlds, where Torah discusses physical things. So that Das Tachten, the light of Hashem within Das Tachten, this more physical perspective where we are real on Hashem is this nothingness that we don't understand. So Yaneno, it will answer Moshe, meaning that it will repeat what Moshe says, that Hashem is the real thing. And this is true about through our Torah, because Torah is all about bringing Hashem's light down. Just different parts of Torah bring Hashem's light down to different worlds. It says that Talmud Gemara brings Hashem's light. The Gemara is in the world of Bria, Mishnah is in the world of Yetzirah, and Tanakh Psukim is in the world of Asiya. So seemingly, how could this be? How could Tanakh be at a lower spiritual level than Gemara and Mishnah? The explanation is that it's not about what level Tanakh is. All of them are from Atzilus, from the high spiritual world. But the question is, how low can they bring down Hashem's light? The Talmud, the Gemara brings down Hashem's light to the world of Bria. Mishnah brings Hashem's light to the world of Yetzirah and Tanakh, even to Asiya. Which is why with Tanakh, the main thing is not the understanding, it's just saying the words. It's about the physical, just the reading primarily. And so when we learn, it says that Hashem learns opposite us. So this refers to Malchus, which is the sphere which goes down into the lower worlds. And this is the response that we're learning Torah, bring down the light from beyond worlds, and then the Malchus responds within the worlds to say, yes, I agree that the Ein Mavada, the only thing is Hashem. And this is also related to the pasuk Ani Havai Lo Shonisi. Change. So then how then can we say that when we learn Torah, Hashem is repeating opposite us? Hashem already has the whole Torah and is by himself. But what we're talking about is Malchus, as it goes down into the lower spiritual worlds, that copies us. Then when we say words of Torah, which is declaring that Hashem is the Yeshem with Ayin, so then Malchus and Das Tachten repeats and accepts that as well. And this is what it means. The Gemara says that Hashem answered B'kolei shel Moshe, in the same volume as Moshe. In other words, that Malchus and Das Tachten just repeats what Moshe is saying, the exact same words. And this is true about through Torah mitzvahs in general, and especially certain tzaddikim like Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi, that there's, depending on who is learning Torah, there's different levels of sort of how much we bring out this idea that Hashem, how deeply it is felt that Hashem is the Yeshem with the Ayin, and whatever the degree to which this is manifest in our Torah is the degree to which Elikim, Hashem as he is within worlds, responds in kind. This is the first Maimer. Now we'll go on to the second Maimer on the same theme. The second Maimer is paraphrasing a pasuk in the first chapter of Yecheskel, which is Ma'aseh Merkava. The pasuk says, "Mareim masayim kashe yiyeh," that their appearance and their behavior is like a wheel inside a wheel. So this is a certain angel that Yecheskel saw, which is called an Ophanim, and it's called a wheel. Why? Like we said in the previous moment, that when you have a wheel inside a wheel, the bigger wheel is both higher than the small, its top is higher than the smaller wheel, but its bottom is lower than the smaller wheel, that through coming from a higher spiritual source, it's able to go down lower. Now, it says in that those same psukim that ruach hachaya befanim, that the spirit of chaya, life, was in the fanim. It doesn't say ruach hachaya is the spirit of the animals, because in that vision it talks about the different spiritual animals that Yecheskel saw, the lion and the ox and the eagle. It says ruach hachaya, the spirit of life. This refers to the ultimate, the highest sort of part of Yecheskel's vision, which is the Adam, the Pnei Adam, which was beyond the animals, the human face, which is beyond these spiritual animals that Yecheskel saw, and the different animals. The lion was on the right and the ox was on the left, so that means each one is limited within a certain type of expression, whereas the Adam, it was not on the right or left because it's a light from beyond, and therefore it's not limited to one specific side. And therefore this it's called Adam, because Adam comes from the word Adame, Adam Elyon, that it is compared, it is similar to Hashem above. To the Adam Shal Kisei, the spiritual and godly Adam on the throne, which represents the shape of our body, and everything about us represents it reflects spiritual light. So this is the Adam Shal Kisei, represents a high level of godliness. So now, so this is how Hishalshalos works in general, how the chain of worlds work in general, that the higher levels surround the lower levels, which means that when it surrounds a lower level, it's both higher, but it's able to go down even lower. So, for example, so we have the days of Sphira. For 7 weeks, we're working on all the different midas, which correspond to the 7 names of Hashem. And we're working step by step to refine them and elevate. But then we have Shavuos, which is the 50th gate, which surrounds and is beyond all of them. And therefore, because it's higher, it's able to go down lower. And that's when the Torah was given, the Torah brings Hashem's unlimited light into physical acts. Do this, don't do that. And that is the Keser Torah, the crown of Torah. The idea of a crown also is that it surrounds, so it comes from higher, therefore it's able to go down lower. This is like we explained before about the Ophon, the angel, which is called a wheel inside another a smaller wheel, a larger wheel. This is what Moshe brings down. It says in the previous Maimah was on this pasuk, Moshe yadber, that Moshe speaks. So Moshe is totally nullified before Hashem in a high spiritual, like a high level of godliness. And he was close to the 50th gate. He was almost complete. He had the full 49 gates of Binan, was working on the 50th. And therefore he was able to bring down from beyond. The 49 represents within Hishalshalos. The 50th is beyond Hishalshalos. And that's why Moshe brought down the 13 attributes of mercy, the Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim, which are from beyond Hishalshalos. And Moshe called out Havaya calls out Hashem in the introduction to the 13. That's Hashem within worlds and Hashem beyond worlds. And one of the Yud Gimel Midas is Neitzer Chesed, that he guards his kindness. This word Neitzer is significant. Neitzer to guard also can be, you can flip around the letters, it's tziner, it's a pipeline for Hashem's light. And also from the word Ratzon, Hashem's desire. The simple meaning of Neitzer is to guard, which is like, for example, when you have something that you're thinking about, you say, you know what, I'm not going to express it yet, I'm going to guard it inside, I'm going to keep it inside my thoughts right now. In other words, that it's chesed as it is beyond expression. Then after the Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim, it says Eisa Chesed, that Hashem does kindness for thousands of generations. So Eisa does is within the physical world, and this word "osa," to do or to make, also means to fix, like it says now that she fixed nails, which is what Avram was working on. Avram was working on within worlds, and whereas Netzach Chesed is beyond worlds. And that's why Netzach Chesed is within the Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, whereas Osa Chesed is not, because Osa Chesed is not beyond Hishalshalos, it's within Hishalshalos, like Avram's level, whereas Netzach Chesed is like Moshe's level, beyond where Moshe reached beyond Hishalshalos. Now it says about both of them, Lalafim, for thousands of generations. So or what it means spiritually is that Chesed can be manifest in thousands of different levels. One after another, and like we know that there's this world, and then there's the lower Gan Eden, and then the high Gan Eden, and in between the Gan Eden, there's a Nahar Dinner that you first have, the soul has to first, before going up from this world into Gan Eden, has to immerse itself in this Nahar Dinner, this river of fire, in which it forgets the whole perspective of this world. Because if it has a physical perspective, then the soul wouldn't be able to have pleasure in Gan Eden, which is pleasure from basking in Hashem's light, understanding of Hashem. So therefore, between, when it goes, also elevates between the low Gan Eden and the high Gan Eden, it has to immerse in Nahar Dinner as well, this river of fire, because the perspective and understanding in low Gan Eden is totally different and far lower than the high Gan Eden, and therefore would disturb the understanding in the high Gan Eden. Like we see with Rabbi Zera, that when he wanted to lift himself from this style of learning of Bavli, when he was going to Eretz Yisrael, from Talmud Bavli to Talmud Yerushalmi, he fasted 100 times to forget Talmud Bavli in order that he should be able to learn Talmud Yerushalmi. So even though he learned Talmud Bavli at a very high level, to the extent he was at such high level, like the Gemara in Bava Metzia says, that the fire couldn't, normally when going to fire, couldn't even burn him because of his Torah, but still he wanted to elevate beyond that to Talmud Yerushalmi level, Talmud Yerushalmi's level. So too there are thousands of levels higher and higher. And similarly with Hamshach, with bringing down Hashem's light, there's thousands of levels lower and lower, each one with more symptom, with more contraction and concealment. Now, the word Lalafim also comes from the word Aleph. That Aleph has a Yud above, which represents a symptom, then a Vav, bringing Hashem's light down, and then it ends up with a Yud at the bottom, which is the amount, the light as it can be manifested at the bottom within worlds. And Aleph is connected to Shema, which this is because Shema, the name of Hashem of Gematria 45, is spelled Yud, Yud Vav Dalet, then Hey is Hey Aleph, Vav is Vav Aleph Vav, and then Hey is Hey Aleph. So this, so it's filling each letter Hey, Vav, Hey, all with Alephs. And the letter Aleph is also special that it means I will. So it like it says in Zohar that Anos that Aleph represents that I will be revealed in the future. So it's a gilui of Hashem within worlds. And so this is and like we said already about the shape of the Aleph. And then both with Avraham and with Moshe, it's Lalafim, which represents revelation of Hashem. But with Avram, as we said, it's only within high spiritual worlds, whereas with Moshe, because it starts off from so high, so therefore it's able to go down so low. And that some tzaddikim especially followed in Moshe's example, like it says about Rava, that is the level of Moshe, and many other tzaddikim, whereas other tzaddikim are more the level of Avraham, with staying within the spiritual, like it says about Rav Yosef. So and so this is the explanation, and really our goal in this world, to bring godliness down within the world as well. And in order to do that, it takes a connection to Hashem even beyond, in order to bring down godliness into this world, so the world itself should declare that Hashem is the Yesh and Ein Od, Mavadi, there's nothing but Hashem.